Okay, so to learn Swift programming language, we're going to use an app called Swift Playground, which was invented by Apple, who invested a lot in education. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I want to tell you a little bit more about the environment first, okay, before we start. So you have to install Swift Playground, which is the app with the orange dove. As soon as you install the app and launch the app, you will see that there are many playgrounds you can download inside this app, but this course will focus on Learn to Code 1. Okay, once you download the playground, you will have it there, like you see at the moment in my screen. And once you tap it, you will start with the introduction about commands. Okay, I skipped the introduction, tapping on the right arrow, okay, until we go inside the playground. Okay, we tap start coding because I want to tell you a little bit more about the environment itself. Okay, so I'm taking pictures because I want to draw something while I'm talking, okay? So it would be easier for you to understand which area I'm pointing at. So first of all, the left area is where the instructions for the level are written. And you should read the instruction all the time to understand what you have to do to pass the level, okay? Then we have the goal of the level. In this particular case, you have to collect 1 gem. Okay, then you have the 3D environment where this character called byte has to do something in order to pass the level. And you are going to tell byte what to do. How? Through code. And how we do that, basically we have this area, which is the area where you write your code. And then with the run button over here, you're going to run the code that you have written. So as soon as you tap the code area where it's written tap to enter code, you will see that a bottom bar will appear with the instruction that you can give. This is done because at the very beginning, you're not really familiar with writing code. So this is to help you. So instead of writing code, you can tap here or there and instructions will appear there. Okay, then before we start, I want also to tell you a little bit more about the buttons that you got in the bottom bar. So this one is the undo button, and this one is the redo button, okay? And I'll show you what they are for, okay? So for example, I tap 2 instructions at the moment, collect gem and move forward. Let's say that I change my mind. So I tap the undo button. You see this is the first one on the very left. So, so this means that I go back. But then I change my mind again. So I tap the redo button. So the instructions will reappear. Okay. So now I want also to tell you something about these little buttons over here. Okay. So in particular, this one is the back button. It's the same that you got in any mobile phones or any keyboard. So if you want to go back one character at a time. And then we have the new line button. So if you want to add another line. And finally, we have this little arrow, top arrow, which means show the keyboard, okay? So let's do a practical example. So the back button, I'm tapping down the back button. So it means I go back one by one character at a time. Then I tap my new lines. So I created like 3 empty lines. And the last one is to hide, to show the keyboard, okay? So if instead of tapping on instructions, I want actually to write my code, okay? Writing my code. Finally, if you want to hide the keyboard, you have to select this button over here, okay? This is the to hide the keyboard, okay? Good. I think you got all these instruments. Oh no, yes. The very last things before we start, I want to mention that the button that says "Run my code" in the 3D area will run your code. But I always suggest to tap the button that is close to the Run button and to expand this menu. And from this menu is always good. It's always better to tap "Step through my code," which is this one. This is because, so I'm going to delete this code that says writing my code. I want to delete all the empty lines because I want to run a code that makes sense. So if I tap some commands now and I step through my code, you will see that every single instruction that is run will be highlighted in gray. So for you, it's easier to understand what's going on, okay? Okay, so let's go straight into the first chapter, which is commands, okay? From the top bar, if you expand the title, you will see that this playground is divided in chapters, commands, functions, commands, functions, for loops, conditional code, logical operator, and so on. So we will go lesson by lesson, chapter by chapter, okay? I will do a couple of exercises with you, but I will encourage you to finish the exercises from the chapter by yourself and submit the solutions via CISO. Okay, good. Let's start.